Layden Robinson with us here on Studio 12 as we get ready for the Texas A&M football season 2023. September 2nd never feels that far away. I mean, you've got the jersey on. It's media days here in 12th Man Productions. I mean, you're ready to put that thing on for real and see an opponent, right?
Oh, yes, sir. It's been a long time, especially after the season. You're always antsy to get back here. And, I'm just happy to be back here with y'all, by the way. It's feel good seeing y'all again. And just getting back in here, getting ready for the season, it's always a great thing. And in the locker room when I was putting these pads on, getting ready, I'm like, wow, this is it. So it's a special meaning behind this year too as well. But I'm just excited and I'm blessed to be in the spot that I'm in right now, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
There you go. Yeah. Feelings mutual, by the way.
It is.
We're glad to see you.
I'm glad to see 64 back. Not going to lie.
Oh, man. For many reasons.
Many reasons.
Podcasting, offensive line play. Always good to see 64 around. Coming out of the spring, we kind of talked about it. There were some injuries on the offensive line. Some guys weren't quite ready to get back. But once preseason camp is here, you'll get some guys back. That offensive line can kind of find the five that is a unit. But I wanted to ask you this, that people talk about the offensive line all the time, how it's functioning as one. It's five guys that have to function as one. How long does that process take to have an offensive line gel, be in sync, and truly, that phrase, function as one unit?
Well, I'll say is how much time do y'all put in outside of the work requirement? That's how long it'll take to gel with each other. And I feel like, it's the five, but it's all of us, because if something happens, and we've seen some like injuries happen all the time in this sport especially, nobody's going to stay 100% healthy during the season, nobody. So we got to make sure that that next person in line could come in and we don't miss a beat at all. So I feel like all of us need to be on that same one accord, and which we're working to that. Like right now, our coaches not there. They're starting to go on vacation and relax for a little while. But now is our part to uphold that and make sure that we do walkthroughs together and make sure that we have that chemistry together. We need to know the defenses so that we can help each other out. And if we do something wrong, or if we say a defense, they could hurry up and get lined up into it and know exactly what stunt we have to do in order for us to be successful up front. So I feel like it's just not the starting five. It's literally all of us. We all have to be on our job, and we all have to be ready for that next up calling. The younger guys, we got younger guys that are back now, and they're excited to play. And I'm just excited for them because I remember being there as a freshman too as well. And, we also have some transfers in from other schools too as well. And, they finally get to experience our Aggie Nation and everything. And I'm just excited for them, too, as well. And just excited for them to be a part of this offensive line family.
Was the win over LSU last year, can that be the first win of 2023?
It can if we make it. I believe it can if we make it. We could take that and we could run with it, or we could take it and flop. I feel like we have to do our part and we have to do our job, which is come off that win and make sure we come in this season strong. Through that last season, we experienced some lows. We experienced some high, then some more lows, and then we finished off with a bang. We went through that weathering that we needed to go through to know what works and what doesn't work. So because we know that, and we're letting the other guys know that came in, hey, we got to start out fast. We got to make sure we come out the blocks like fast and on fire, and then let's keep the game rolling and let's keep that tempo up. All we have to do is just keep that same momentum and what we learned and put into this season, so we know what to do and what not to do, and we just apply that to the season.
Jimbo always says in the SEC, you win with the guys with the hands in the dirt. My feeling going into this season is the guys with the hands in the dirt on Texas A&M on both sides of the football can be dominant. Fair statement?
Fair statement. I feel like we are going to be dominant. We just got to make sure we keep the little things right and make sure we stay focused on the present. Like I mentioned earlier, we just got to make sure we stay focused on the present and do our job and what's required of us every day. Especially when the days you don't feel like it, because that's the most important. We all have those days when, man, I don't want to hound in on this technique. But that's what makes you a better player, and we got to learn how to just push each other in that positive way. and other people have to accept it along with ourselves. We have to accept it and know that it's out of love and not out of anything other than love for the betterment of the team.
Mm-hmm. How competitive does it get with those hands in the dirt, offense against defensive line? I know, like I said, you're waiting to see some other uniform to hit, some other defensive line to go against. But obviously, our offensive line and our defensive line become better because of the talent that's on both sides. How competitive does it get when you guys go against your own teammates, but they are across the ball from you?
Oh, I mean, it's very competitive, especially right now in summer workouts. It's some of the most competitive things. I mean, you're seeing, especially in our position groups, you're seeing we calling out each other to go against each other and push each other in racing. Doing our sprint work, we're making sure like we stay on sides of the ball. If you don't stay off sides, you got to go to the back. Then you got to. They be like, focus up, because we still got to compete, but we also got to do it the right way, and hone in on the little stuff. But I feel like this summer, how we're working and how much focus and intensity we have, I feel like the sky's the limit for us. And just that competitive nature, especially with the O-line, D-line, we're cheering each other on in workouts too. Because, it's good to go against each other and have that competitive nature, but to show that love for each other at the end of the day, just to show, hey, we still care about y'all, even though we got to go against y'all in this business, and we trying to make each other better, but we still have that love for each other where we could push each other every single day and just have fun doing it. So it's just a great thing to be around.
Because they're going to celebrate when that offensive line pushes the defense off the ball, gets in the end zone, and you're going to be celebrating when that defensive line's coming off the field after a third down sack, right?
Exactly. And that's just the best part. Like Coach Fisher always says, and we hold on to it in the trenches, is we're not offense, we're not defense. We're a whole team. We're not special teams either. We're a whole team as a unit, and that matters. And sometimes, you don't look at that. Sometimes you always look like it's offense versus defense, but no, it's not that. We need each other. This is a sport to where you need your other teammate, your other brother. You have to depend on them to do their job on both sides, no matter what, because we're locked in together, if you like it or not. So this is the sport to where your teamwork and all of that comes into, and then it makes a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. And along those lines, how much does Coach Fisher talk about situational football, how the offense and special teams can set up the defense and special teams can set up the offense? And it seems like he preaches that phrase a lot, situational football.
Yes, sir, he does. He always tells us to think about it, too. So, when you're down and you're tired and you stand, you have to always think about situational football. Like, let's say if usually we got to make sure we're down on this play, but you got to think, all right, what's the down and distance? Do they know we're passing the ball? Do they know we're running the ball? So you got to take in little things like that. And he always stressed to us about how you said situational football, because it's very important, because you could put yourself behind the 8-ball if you're not cautious of what you're doing and when you're doing it and how you're doing it. So he preaches about that a lot, and especially when we get started, he's going to make sure he grinds that into us even more. So, I'm like excited for it.
Last year, there were so many games that came down to one possession. Last year, this team had to learn the experience. Last year, there was talk about maybe a little bit of a void in leadership. I feel this year, all those have been fixed. There's more depth. There's more leadership. There's way more experience. And like you said, even the young guys, they got a taste of what it was like to succeed. They like that taste. That's why I think I'm so excited. Are you as excited going into this season?
Oh, I'm really excited, especially after seeing my young guys come in. I'm really excited because I'm more excited for them than me. Because just to see them have that success and have that smile on their face, because now that I'm the older guy in the locker room, I see how it feels to want greatness for somebody else. I just want greatness for our whole team, greatness for everybody, and winning. That's just gonna seal the deal. That's just gonna seal the deal for us. And I'm just happy and I'm excited what we can be, but at the end of the day, we still have to put the work in too. We can't just expect it to happen. Last year, we just probably expected it to happen, even though we had the everything out on paper, But, every writing is not finalized. It can always be changed. So we just got to get back to work and keep our head down and not listen to the outside noise and just have fun doing it every day and put the work in and start grinding.
What has the change in coordinator meant for the offensive line? Is it much different with Bobby Petrino here?
It's not much different, but it's we still have a lot of the same play calls. We just adjusted some things, but Coach Petrino, he's really came in and he wanted to start that tempo that we was really successful in up. So I feel like that's going to be a positive thing, and I'm just ready to roll. You know, Coach Petrino, he's a great coach, great guy, and he just wants to see us be great. He always honed in on us on the little things too. When we're out there doing walkthroughs, he's letting us know what he sees, being honest, he's being truthful, and he's saying if we want to be the team that we want to be, we got to hone in on the little things. And I totally 100% agree with him.
That's from the first snap,
From
right?
the first snap.
Yeah.
From the first snap, we got to go. We have to go. We can't be sluggish. We can't be anything because that's when the opponent gets to jump on us. We got to go.
You want that opponent to be looking at the clock going, man, these 60 minutes cannot go fast enough,
Yes,
right?
sir.
You want to make them quit.
Exactly. Well, in any sport, you want to make the other guy quit. You know, you're definitely not going to be the one to give in. That's when, you know, that pride comes in, and you just got to make sure that you're the last one out on top.
Mm-hmm. Getting a guy back for preseason camp that doesn't always get to participate in spring is Bryce Foster.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously very important when you're the guy at center.
Yes.
Just to have him in preseason camp back with this functioning unit again, what does it mean?
Oh, Bryce is a great aspect to this team. He's a great key part to this team, and he knows it too. He knows he's a very smart guy. If you really get to sit down and just talk with him about the game of football, he could wow you with a lot of the stuff he knows. So everything is going to come to him fast, and it's going to when he gets back in there, it's going to be like he didn't miss a beat, I'm telling you, because especially how Coach Adazio, how he coaches us and now he tells us how important things are, and we do a lot of repetition. That's his thing. We have to get reps. We got to make sure we get body repetitions. So with Bryce getting that and how mentally strong he is, he's just going to click and fit right back in and be ready for the fall.
He called himself Mountain.
Yes.
That is so appropriate. You got a mountain to your right, too.
Yeah.
Like, you're not a small guy. You got two mountains around. That's like a mountain range there on the right side of that line.
Oh, wow, that's not a bad nickname for an offensive line. The range. You know?
Oh, that could be something that key on. You never know.
You guys still go with Maroon Goons, though? You still call yourselves that?
We call ourselves the room.
Room.
That's what Coach Adazio calls us, the room. You gotta protect the room.
Tight-knit group.
The tight-knit group upheld the standard for the room. Don't embarrass the room. With anything you do outside of this, because you're representing the room, you're representing us. And one bad reputation could mess up all of us. So you got to hold that up standard to the room. So that's what we've been calling ourselves ever since he got here, the room.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big room.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thanks for stepping in our radio room.
Thank
here.
y'all.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much.
Always a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, yeah.
Layden Robinson right here in the south end zone of Kyle Field on Studio 12.